we're going to do a little experiment today using this force sensor that I have connected to this horizontal bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a hook and I'm going to put it on here, and then I'm going to gradually add mass. And as I add mass to it, I'm going to record what does the force sensor read. So the recording will be what is the force gravity that is pulling on the force sensor. So as I do this, I am going to switch to my graph and show you the data that I collect during this time. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that my force sensor is 0. So I have my mass hanging on the force sensor, and right now I have 100 grams on there. So I'm going to tell it to keep that data. I'm going to tell it that I have, I'm going to change it to kilograms, 0.1 kilogram. I'm going to keep that point, and it plotted it right here. So now I'm going to add another 100 grams to it. I add another 100 grams. I'm going to tell it to keep that force reading. And I'm going to tell it that I have 0.2 kilograms on there, and keep that point. So I'm just going to keep increasing my mass by 100 grams. Keep this point. And you can see my points are plotting on the graph. I'm at 500 grams. It looks like I have a nice linear relationship. And I'm going to keep increasing until I get to 1 kilogram. A few more to go. $900 grams. And 1 kilogram. As you can see, it looks like it's a nice linear relationship. Now, if I go to apply a curve fit here, it looks like it's linear, and it looks like my lines, my points fall on that pretty well, so I'm going to go apply. Notice, right here, it gave me my equation. Yes, it is linear. It's a y equals mx plus b. And then it calculated my slope for me also. So it looks like my slope is 9.79. Right here is that slope value. Right there. That number should be significant. So we want to talk about what does this mean on this graph. Okay? So we know the equation for this is y equals mx plus b. Now, it looks like I didn't plot 0, 0, but if I would have if I have 0 mass on this force sensor, the force sensor should read 0. So this should be 0. And if we look at this, the value that it gave me for b right there was a negative 0.0039. It looks like it's pretty close to 0. So we're really interested in what are these. Y, what's on the y-axis? That was my force gravity. Abbreviate it like that. Equals m. M, that is the slope right here. Looks like it's 9.79. And the units for this slope value would be newtons per kilogram. Newtons per kilogram. What is X? X looks like it's mass. Just put that letter in there. Now, this really comes out to be the equation force, gravity, which we really call the weight of something. So that means force, gravity, and weight are interchangeable, equals the mass of the object times this value right here, that slope. Now, we are on Earth. We call that gravity on Earth. Guess what? Does that number 9.79, is that close to something else that we've used? Isn't that close to 9.81? Yes, that's really what it is, and ours came out to be very close to that. So in other words, G on Earth, it is that 9 point, this is the accepted value, 81 newtons per kilogram. And in this case, it is negative because it is downward. So that means that the Earth's gravitational field pulls every object for every kilogram of mass it has 9.81 newtons. So that's that constant acceleration, also the acceleration of anything that is in free fall. So our equation really ends up to be weight gravity equals, or force gravity equals the weight of an object, and we use that term incorrectly, which equals the mass times the gravity on Earth. And we will use the accepted value for G on Earth is this. Now, if you went to another planet or another large body, you would have to figure out what is the gravitational pull on that planet. So we figured out what that was here graphically by plotting points and seeing what it was with the masses put on there, how it changed over time. So this is our new equation that we will use throughout calculating force gravity or the weight of an object. So that would be the equation that you are going to need to use. And then the G in there may change depending on which planet or large body you are by.